Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, First Community Financial Bank, the community bank where you come first. You're watching Spotlight, and with me today in studio is the DuPage Children's Museum. I'd like to welcome Alex Tungsgaard, she's an education learning specialist, and Danielle Salt, she's a play facilitator. So welcome, guys. Let's talk a little bit about the museum. So Alex, tell us about the mission.
The mission of the museum is to stimulate creativity, curiosity, and critical thinking through open-ended experiences with the integration of art, math, and science, and through the child-adult partnership.
That's a big job.
It is.
And exciting too, right?
It is exciting.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit, Danielle, about who comes to the museum.
We have over 300,000 visitors at the museum annually. Our target age range is birth to age 10, and these children come with their parents, their grandparents, their teachers, their nannies, or any other adults they would have in their lives.
Okay, and I know because we see lots of buses coming in, so you have a big audience that comes in from the schools, right? And then just a lot of individual families as well.
Yep.
So now you have a constructivist philosophy.
Yes.
I think I said that right.
Yes, you did.
Tell us a little bit about that.
The big idea with constructivism is that children create their own learning by open-ended, free exploration. So when they're playing and exploring with the different materials, they are making sense of the world around them.
Okay, give us some examples, can you?
Yes, so one of our favorite exhibits in the museum is the ramps and rollers. And you can see there's no one right way to put it together. There's limitless possibilities. A 2-year-old is going to interact with it in a completely different way than a 5 or an 8-year-old is going to interact with it, and they're going to learn all different things. They're going to learn about physics, they're going to learn about speed and velocity. There's so many exciting things for them.
I think it's interesting because as you talk about that, they're learning, but they don't know they're learning,
Exactly.
right? They think they're playing,
right?
Right?
Yep.
And some of the adults think they're playing too, right?
Yeah.
That are with
So
them.
another great example is the water table, which is something that I think that people think that kids just like to play in the water,
right?
But there's actually so much that they're learning in that experience. From the youngest ones that are just dumping and pouring, they're learning about volume, and then with the current in the water table, they're learning about how water is energy and how it moves things from one place to another. So there's a lot more going on there than just splashing around.
That's great. That's great. And I always loved when I brought my children the bubbles.
Yeah.
Right? Is that a popular one still?
Yep, that one is my favorite. I could spend an entire hour over in the bubble area. It's definitely one of the most popular exhibits.
Okay, so now tell us a little bit. You guys were out, obviously you're out at the mall now because of the incident with the flooding in January. Tell us a little bit about the highlights of being out there at the mall, Danielle.
It has been a real blessing to have a location open while we are doing construction at our main location. It's really awesome. We get all these families coming in, and you see children who've been to the museum before. They look up and they see the sign and they recognize the big red door, and they come running right up going, "It's the museum, Mom!" And they come in and they see the toys that are familiar to them, stuff that we brought straight from the museum. And they just jump right in and start playing. And I know their parents come up and they tell us that they are so appreciative that we have a site open. And we also attract people who they may have never heard of the DuPage Children's Museum. So you see the kids come by and they see these big glass windows with shapes and bright colors. And they right away, they just want to come in. They look in, they see these toys, and they come in and start to explore, and the parents come up and they ask us about the museum. And we've even sold a lot of memberships, which is really interesting to think that we're selling memberships to a closed museum. But we do have something called a reciprocal membership. If you buy a certain level membership, then you can get 50% off at certain museums around Illinois. So it's really great to see that people still want to be a part of our membership family at the museum, and that just from their experience at the mall location that they want to come to our museum when we reopen.
It's really wonderful then. So you've got you're taking care of your current members in that temporary location, and you're also picking up new members, you know, so that will be exciting. Now, tell us a little bit, Alex, it's taken a while for the museum to reopen. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so it wasn't just a matter of going in and fixing something, right? So we had to deconstruct, and now we're reconstructing. And anybody that has ever done a home remodel, I think, understands that when you have construction happening, there are timelines that fluctuate, sometimes on a daily basis, and we have definitely had to deal with that. In addition to rebuilding some of the physical building, we had to redo some exhibits, which there's a lot of thought and time that goes into designing new exhibits and then fabricating them. And so we're trying to be as quick about things as we can, but do it really well.
Well, and I think you guys have talked about it's going to be better than ever, right?
Yes.
And I think that's a really wonderful goal. And are there some interesting things that we should be aware of that are coming when you do open later this summer?
Yes, well, we're going to have a lot of the same favorites, familiar favorites, right? The fish are alive and well. They're going to have a new home, though. They're going to be located somewhere else, so that's going to be a challenge for people to come and find where the fish are living now.
An exciting journey, navigation, learning navigation skills.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then we're also going to have some new wow factors. So we're going to try and incorporate a little bit of technology into the museum and have a few new pieces that we think everybody is going to be really excited about.
That's great, and that kind of fits in with your whole STEM and the science and the technology and everything, right? Danielle, what are you most excited about with the reopening coming up?
I am most excited, honestly, to see the kids' faces when they come back into the museum. I know it has been a tremendous loss to our community to have us closed during this time. And as we like to say, it really is more than a museum. It is a staple to the downtown Naperville community, and I've had so many families tell me it's been so hard to have us closed because they've been coming since their kids were just babies. And the kids have grown up coming to the museum bi-weekly or weekly, sometimes even a few times a week. And so I'm just excited to be open again for them to be able to come back into the same museum that they know and love, but with some new exhibits and better things inside that they can look forward to.
A real silver lining.
Yep.
Yeah. We are looking forward to it. We can't wait for you guys to reopen. And for more information about the DuPage Children's Museum, please visit their website. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go away because we're going to be right back with more Spotlight.